Okay, welcome back to Scratch tutorial number 2. And so in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create boundaries and make Scratch interact with boundaries in a way so that he cannot pass through them. So the first thing we're going to do is we've got to create a boundary that we want Scratch to interact with. So we are going to draw a little box around Scratch. So I want you to go down to Stage and click on your backdrop. Not the new backdrop, I want you to just click on the backdrop, and then I want you to go up to the second tab, which is the Backdrops tab. Click on it. And the most important thing you got to do first off is convert to vector. When you're working in Scratch, I find it's always best to convert to vector. So we click on Convert to Vector, and now we're going to go to Fill, and we're going to set it to Transparent. Outline is black, and we're going to set it to 6. Then go down to the square or rectangle tool, click on it, and then click and drag a square kind of in the center of the screen like this. And then let go, and your square will appear. If you want to change it, you can change the size. This changes the length. If you grab a corner, it will scale it in scale to the current dimensions. We're going to set it like this. So right now you can see over here on the player window, Scratch is inside of this square. So let's click back on Code and then into Scratch. So remember, whatever thing you have selected, that is where the code you are looking at is located. So you got to think about it as the brain of that particular little sprite. So this is Scratch's brain. This is what's going on in his brain right now. All he's got is left, right, up, down movement. So if we run a little test over here, left, right, up, down, he is in no way interacting with that black box because he does not yet have any code that allows him to interact with that. So we're going to add another little sensing block. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Control, and we're going to add another if statement. So in this case, though, we are actually going to be adding our if statement inside an existing if statement. So we're going to be doing what's called nesting. So we're going to grab this if-then statement, and we're going to grab it, and we're going to insert it right here underneath the change x by 10 inside that if right arrow key press statement. Then we're going to go to Sensing. And we're actually going to do a touching color sensing. So we're going to make this work by having Scratch sense if he's touching the color of the box. So we drag that in there and then we click on the color. Let's just click here on the eyedropper tool over here and select black. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to have him sense if he's touching black and then do something. So right now this is a motion block. He's moving X value by 10. So what we want to do is go change X by 10, and we want to cancel out this 10 right here. So we want to go over here, and the opposite of 10, so essentially 10 plus what equals 0, 10 plus negative 10 equals 0. And the reason we want this plus this to equal 0 is that we want him to stop when he senses touching the color. So what's actually happening here, if we press this little flag, so he goes there and you can see now he stops. So he's moving by 10, he then touches the color and he moves back by 10. So he essentially does a little, if you click on it, jump, and then jump back to his original position. But because it's a code and it's moving really, really quickly, we see it as him not moving at all. But what's actually happening is he's going toot, 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 and then he's going back to that original position. So we now replicate this for all of the other movements. So another if statement under the left arrow, an if statement under the up arrow, and an if statement nested in under the down arrow. I'm going to right click on touching color black and hit duplicate, drop it in there, right click it, duplicate, in there, right click, duplicate, and drop it in there. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate, nope, Command Z, undo that. Don't do what I was doing right there. Let's just go to motion. We're going to do another change X by 10. So this one's already -10. So -10 plus 10 equals 0. So we've now canceled out the left movement. Now this is important. When you get to up and down, you got to remember that you are changing the Y value. So you want to change the Y value by -10. I often see students drop a change X in here, and that will cause it to actually move diagonally. You got to make sure you're changing it by Y. So Y by +10, Y by -10 equals 0, so that's good. Y by -10 plus +10 equals 0, so that is good. So let's give it a little test. Left, right, up, and down. Scratch is now trapped inside the box. So that is how you do boundary sensing when you are creating your game. Okay, that's it for boundaries. So I'm going to leave this video here for now.